More and more people are becoming disenchanted with the political and economical system in the West. Joining me down the line is Edgar Swamp, author of Glitch in the Machine, which takes a satirical look at America's future. Edgar, is this book a call for a revolution?
More of a paranoid delusion that I think is shared by many. There is a disparity of the wealthy and the poor in this country, so maybe just a call to action to realize what you're doing when you're voting.
So, albeit vastly entertaining, Glitch in the Machine is somewhat cynical. What would you say are the main concerns with the US system?
The disparity of the rich and the poor is growing because of the political candidates that we have to choose. There was a bill called Citizens United that was enacted by the Supreme Court, I believe, in 2010. And this was a bill that enabled presidential hopeful candidates to get money from anywhere around the world. Because of being able to get these kind of contributions, they're able to buy presidential elections. The fear is that being able to buy the presidency, corporations could run America.
Your book forecasts that in 2025, the United States is in the shadow of a puppet government run by giant corporations, and the 99% live without rights or the protection of government regulations, fully at the mercy of the 1%. So an over-the-top political satire, but isn't this just socialist scaremongering?
The way I guess I wrote the book is with a big dose of paranoia.
Artistic creation criticizing the system, as you have, comes in many forms, from George Orwell's 1984 to The Matrix, inspired by Jean Baudrillard's philosophies. These fictional critiques make me think of Marx famously calling the church the opium of the people. Maybe if you're going to call for serious change, you should call for serious change rather than hide behind a fictional world, no?
When the Occupy Wall Street movement was happening was when I got a lot of ideas for this book, in tandem with the 2012 presidential election and the Citizens United ruling. I feel that people actually kind of were called to action, and I was taking their idea from what they actually really did and exaggerating it, making it more over the top. And if my book can just make people open their eyes to the idea of change, then I don't feel it's so much hiding behind a fictional world so much as creating one that may help to educate people to think about choices they make when they're voting.
So tell me about your background. How did you form these opinions? Because I'm getting a sort of American Russell Brand vibe from you.
I was born middle class. I grew up. And I live, actually, some of these ideas are generated from living in Southern California, where here there is a big disparity between the rich and the poor. The 2012 election was going on. And what happened was President Barack Obama wanted to reform healthcare. And Fox News, a very popular Republican news station, was broadcasting just blatant lies regarding a system. They actually were broadcasting that there were going to be death camps set up in which, if your Aunt Jenny got sick and the insurance wasn't going to cover it, they were saying blatantly that she would be marched into a death camp. Republican friends of mine actually believed that. And so actually that was the seeds of the idea was, wow, what if insurance companies ruled these United States and our lives were truly in their hands?
What's life like for a middle-class American? Is it hard? Is the American dream attainable?
It's harder and harder. My family is all middle class. I have a sister who's a school teacher who presently can't find work because jobs just aren't there. So she's a school teacher who's actually working in a drugstore as an assistant. It is harder. A bachelor's degree isn't a guarantee in anything. You almost need a master's degree really to ensure your future, that you're going to make enough money.
So let's look at the major themes of the book, which really mirror major concerns for a lot of Americans. Healthcare reform, as you mentioned, or Obamacare. So who are the winners and the losers in this? And economically speaking, isn't it a step forward for the states?
I am benefiting from Obamacare. My book is based on if Mitt Romney had won the 2012 election, because another thing during that campaign was Mitt Romney getting caught on video essentially saying how he was going to give tax breaks to all his rich corporate buddies, and meanwhile the middle class was going to suffer the brunt of these changes. Again, all those ideas conspire, when you're thinking about how Fox News is telling us our relatives are going to be marched into death camps. And then you got the Republican candidate telling his rich buddies how he's going to hook them up and he's going to toss out all the immigrants.
So overall, I think this book is sort of like a warning about inequality, that money rules all. So in your mind, what's the alternative?
We live in the United States. It's capitalism, and capitalism is a wonderful idea. Socialism seems kind of extreme. So an answer to that question is really tough. I was seeing certain factors that were affecting the middle class, which is the backbone of this country. And I think my concerns more lie within upholding their rights and putting restrictions or higher taxation on people that do make more money. It would be just nice to see if the playing field could be leveled to a certain degree.